A little early? Yes. All right, we're going a little early. And we, just to make sure that we do it right this time, we thought we did it yesterday. Guess it didn't take. Had a whole conversation amongst ourselves. No one was able to watch it, I guess. So we're just going to double check that we're live. And we are live. All right. So just about 2 o'clock. We know no one's probably watching it this time because we didn't post it or anything like that. We didn't schedule it because we just realized that it's not uploading. It never took. So we're going to try again. So I'm Susan.
Cam.
And we are your race directors, or some of them, I should say, for the 2026 Providence road races.
Mm-hmm.
So back in the day, we used to have like race director meetings before bigger events. And, you know, with technology, we can kind of do it this way. So if anybody is happening to watch and they would like to ask some questions, drop them down in the chat and we will cover them.
Yes.
Otherwise, we will just go over some FAQs and in hopes that people may watch this later.
Yes.
So
let's do it.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Let's talk about some registration things to start off, kind of the pre-race, the days leading up to the race, and what we can do to make sure we are ready for race day. Let's start with the deferral and transfer deadline.
Good one. So today is Thursday. Mm-hmm. So next Wednesday, the 29th, we will have our transfer and deferral deadline. So Wednesday, the 29th is the last day to opt out of the race. We do have quite a few people waiting to get in. So we are waiting for some more people to drop out, but we can like right now you can transfer to another event of ours, or you can defer until next year. But the deadline for that is Wednesday, because after that we're out on trucks and out on course. We're just not in front of our computers.
Yes. So we've got 3 races: the 5K, the half, and the full. Which ones are sold out?
I know the full and the half are sold out. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if the 5K sold out. Last I looked, it was nearly sold out.
Maybe still a couple spots.
Yeah. Yes. And I've received a few emails already today, people asking to downgrade from the full to the half. Unfortunately, we can't allow that. And the reason being is because the race is sold out. All our bibs are accounted for. So even though you're in the race already, you can't drop down because our shirts and our medals are event specific. Mm-hmm. So if you were to drop from the full to the half, you'd actually be taking a half marathon medal away from registered half marathon runners. So, I mean, you could put yourself on the wait list, but it's unlikely that we would get through the wait list. So your choices are to transfer or defer. Because if with this race, I guess they could turn around at the halfway, but you would be disqualified if you're in the full and you only run a half, according to SATF rules.
Yes. All right, bib pickup.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to do Friday, Saturday, correct?
Yes.
What are the times and the locations for Friday and Saturday?
So we like this event because we only have one bib pickup location, which makes it a lot easier. We're not packing up and going to different places like circus folks. So we are at the Providence Place Mall, which is a great location. Lots of parking, other things to do while you're there. First floor, it's the old Banana Republic store, if you're familiar with the Providence Place Mall. It is right across from the Apple store, which is also kind of cool.
Very nice.
Yep. So Friday, we are there 4 to 7, and Saturday, we're there 12 to 5. So you do not need to reserve bib pickup. We don't actually assign your bib until you check in. So our bibs are with us at all bib locations. We only limit race day bib pickup because we need to make sure everybody gets checked in on time. So you can opt in for race day bib pickup. There is a fee for that, but you do have to have a reservation because it is limited in number. So otherwise, plan on picking up Friday and Saturday.
Alrighty. T-shirts, not trees. You want to talk about that?
Sure, that's a good one. So for our sustainable runners, we do allow you to opt out of a T-shirt. And the reason being is that, believe it or not, but a polyester shirt is very environmentally insensitive between the polyester, the shipping, all that sort of good stuff. So if you choose that you do not need a race shirt, you can have we worked with our forestry partners. You will get a tree planted in your name and you will get a geocached certificate with your tree, which is kind of cool.
Nice. I see we've got a couple viewers coming in. So if you guys have questions, please ask them in the chat. It does say chat is disabled for this live stream.
That is weird. I don't know why. You can see like this is not really our forte. What about, nope, that one. How about down here in the settings? Would that be it? No.
We'll have to maybe check that back later.
I wonder if it's here. All right. Don't know. Well, we're not going to fool around with it because we know we're live. So, yeah, not sure.
It's all right. Arrival and transportation.
Yes.
Let's make sure people arrive early. How early are we talking?
The last shuttle is at 7 a.m. So, and don't plan on being the last person on the shuttle, because everybody thinks that they can get on those last shuttles, and they are limited. So we don't know how many people are showing up, but we know that we can't fit all 2,000 of you on those last shuttles. So plan on getting there early. The shuttles will run from 5 or 5:30. I'm not sure. I think 5 a.m. I think they start at 5.
Yeah.
And they will run until 7. The 2 parking locations are they're both on Vets Memorial Boulevard. One will say the address as 1 Kettle Point, but that is actually off of Vets. We are using part of our race partnership with University Orthopedics. They're allowing us to use their parking lot. And that's for the marathon runners. And the reason being is because that parking lot is actually on the marathon course. So, and it's a super cool spot to spectate from. So if you're looking at the building and the parking lot is like, the shuttle is going to be over here under like a portico, like down to the right of the building and down, you can access the bike path. And then if you go like a little bit past the bike path and just ask somebody that's down there, you'll find a troll, like a big, huge wooden troll. And it's in Spooky Bottom, they call it. And I think the name of this troll is Ms. Skipper. She's got like a canoe on her head. It's super cool. So it's kind of fun to check out as you're spectating for the race. The half marathon and the 5, and this is also where our spectators are going to park. Our half and 5K parking is over at the Metacomet Office Park, which is also on Vets. They're just separated by a mile, 3/4 of a mile, not much. So, and you can also park on side streets. Just be very mindful of residents. Don't park in no parking zones. On Lions Ave, you have to be on the north, or I think it's the north side of Lions Ave. I think that road goes east to west. So yeah, so that's where everyone's parking. Get there. Oh, don't park at the bike path parking, please. The reason being is those 2 bike path parkings that are on Vets are our aid stations. So we need to have space for our volunteers, for our medical people, for the public. There is plenty of parking in those other two parking lots. If you see them, just drive past those. They're small. Just drive past them and you'll come on to our next 2 parking lots. There will be signs out front that tell you that these are the race parking lots. Okay. Oh, shuttle stops, we should probably say.
That's what the next question is.
So the shuttle stop for Kettle Point is right in the portico, and then the shuttle stop for Metacomet is at the intersection of Vets and Lions Ave. Again, there's there for where the shuttle stops are.
Nice. All right, that's everything we got for shuttle stops, parking, everything?
Yes. So before the race, obviously we're only coming, so they're only going to pick up at 1 parking lot each shuttle and bring you to the race. On the way back, it will just be a loop. So it doesn't matter which shuttle you get on. They'll go up to Kettle Point, then they'll come to Vets, then they'll come back to Ball Point Park.
All right, so the course. Let's start on the course. So first of all, we'll start off by saying I posted a little course video using a Strava flyover where I kind of went into details about the course. So if you haven't checked that out, please go check that out on our page from a couple weeks back. But this is more the start itself and the course, what we've got aid station-wise and stuff like that. So the start times. What are the start times for the 3 races?
So the marathon starts at 7:30, the half marathon starts at 8, and the 5K starts at 8:15. We have brought back the kids' fun run this year, which we're pretty excited about. That will go off at 8:20. That is just a short up and down waterfront boulevard. And we actually have some mascots that will join them this year, which is kind of fun. Yeah. I think Rhode Ram is definitely going to be there. I think the Newport Gulls mascot, and I believe the Rhode Island Football Club mascot is also going to be there. And then the other fun part about these races is that the 5K is actually part of the Rhode Island 250th, which is called the Renunciation Run, because, a little history lesson for you, Rhode Island was actually the first to declare its independence from Britain in 1776, and we declared it on May 4th. So a few months before the rest of the country, it was official. And so May 3rd, which is when our race, we are celebrating the Rhode Island independence. And so the Renunciation Run is part of that celebration. So kind of fun. So we'll have the Patuxent Rangers there kind of starting our race, which if it doesn't rain, they say it's going to be a cannon. Otherwise, they're going to have like old timey muskets and stuff. So fun little start.
Yes. Why don't you talk a little bit about the early starters?
Yes, good point. So anybody that is a marathoner that is going to take over 5.5 hours, you will be slotted for the early start corral. The reason being is that the cities are very strict with our permits. We must reopen the roads within our permit guidelines. We always feel like it's more important for you to have extra time in the beginning than at the end when we're kind of rushing you, and more support at the end when you need it the most. So if you have entered an expected finish time of 5.5 hours, you will be assigned to the early start. What that means is report to the start line, see the timer, be there at 6:20 for the 6:30 start. It is not a rolling start from 6:30 to 7:30. It is one start at 6:30.
Okay.
Is that everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
The starting line. How do you want people to enter the start line?
Oh, I'm sorry. We should go back. And the early start is only for people who need the extra time. It's not so that you can get done your race early.
Yes.
If you finish in under 4.5 hours, you will be disqualified because technically that's 3.5 hours into the marathon, and that is an age group award based on averages time, and that kind of messes up our scoring. So the early starters are ineligible for our age group awards. They should know the course, the course markings for the most part are out there, but just being mindful of the course. And I feel like there's a third thing besides the disqualification. Just you might want to bring your own hydration for the nutrition for the first. The volunteers will be there setting up, but they might not quite be ready.
All right, the starting line.
Yes.
So we'll have pacers out. We'll have the mile marker signs or no?
I think the pacers will be holding signs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just please try to line up in there. I'm not sure if you want to touch on the chute.
Yeah, so we'll self-seed according to where the paces are kind of in the lot. The faster runners up front, obviously. The slower runners can take their time in the back. So last year, it was our first year in Ballpoint Park. We reconfigured the parking lot this year a little bit better to give more room in the starting corrals. So we'll actually line out onto the point a little bit more. If you are a half marathoner, please don't go into the chutes until 7:45 at the latest, until the full marathon kind of goes out. We'll call you when it's time, but don't go into the starting corrals. Leave that for the marathoners. And then same thing with the 5K. Once the half goes off, we'll call the 5K into the starting corrals. So as soon as you get to Ballpoint Park, you won't be able to miss it. The start and the finish are the same. So you'll see our inflatable arch there. So you'll see the barricades, so you know where the starting corrals are.
And then why don't you talk a little bit about the issue we had with going over the start line and starting your watch?
Oh, right. That's a good point. So we do get a few rare circumstances where if you're starting your watch at the same time that you cross over the starting mat, it can interfere with the RFID signals between your chip on your bib and the starting mat. It's rare. Everything has to happen at exactly the right moment, but it does happen. So it is more important that we have your starting time than you have your starting time, because if you do interfere with that signal and your chip doesn't read, by USATF rules, we go by gun time. You can't send us your Strava. You can't tell us what time you started. It is based on gun time at that point. So start your watches just before or just after the mat, but make sure that you hear that beep and you're going over that chip time mat.
All right. So the pacers, we will have one every 15?
I believe so. For the full, I think it's more like one every half an hour. Yes. But yes, that's a good question. I should know that. But
shout out to Pacers. They do a great job.
Amazing. They're like our little running tour guides. We love them because they'll give you they're local runners. So they give you all the tips and tricks as you're going, all things to see.
I want you to talk a little about the medical we've got set up at the finish.
Sure. So with this race in particular, it can get a little warm in the afternoon, depending, May can be tricky. It can be miserable or it can be wonderful, but it can get a little warm. So we actually use, it's called Rhode Island RMC, the Reserve Medical Corps. They come in with a field hospital in a semi-trailer. So it is to help us triage right on site so that we don't have to send anybody to the hospital. We also have full ALS, which is advanced life support ambulances out there. There's certain parts of the bike path that we cannot get to. So we have roving gators out there, medical gators that will be out roving the bike path for you. If you need any assistance whatsoever, tell an aid station, tell a water stop. And if you just need a ride and pick up, we will come get you. If it is full medical, they can, reach out to us. We have a command center in East Providence that we can deploy very quickly.
Yes. Great medical. So for the porta potties, we've got 2 at each aid station, correct? Yep. And then we're going to have a big group at the start and finish.
Correct.
What's on course? What is at each aid station? First of all, we've got
well, this is not at the aid station. This is at
I was
the
going to go with this.
Oh, yes, you're right. Sorry.
We got our hiccups. You want to talk about our nice hiccup lady?
Sure. Sorry. So these are what we use on course. Thanks to 11th Hour Racing for helping us with our sustainable initiatives. These are reusable silicone cups. They're actually much easier to use to pour water into your mouth because they're so flexible and much better than a regular cup that might break. You do not have to carry these from one aid station to the next. They will be at every aid station. So drink like you would normally do. Ideally, please don't just drop it on the road because these just like other cups can be a tripping hazard. throw them to the side of the road. There will be buckets over there. Throw them off course, please. Obviously not into the water. Although I don't think any of these are really near the water.
Some parts of the bike path.
Yeah, but throw them out of the way of the runners, please. And we will go around. We collect all these. They're super easy to find. They're way better than regular cups. They get washed and reused, and they keep a lot of cups out of landfills. So very cool.
Yes, very nice, very nice. Shout out the Hiccup Lady.
Yep.
She is awesome. At our aid stations, we're going to have some new electrolytes. We're going to have some scratch electrolytes as well. We're going to have bananas. We're going to have goo gels, right? Just goo.
Yep, just goo.
And I believe that's it.
Some aid station, like aid supplies, like
Yes,
Vaseline and
yes,
cramp
all that's
cream,
standard.
things like that. Yep.
And then the finish line. We've got the finish line. We've got some canned water at the finish line, our new favorite thing. We're both drinking it right now. Shout out to everyone at Newport who tried this. I think our favorite part is it's just water.
We keep saying that, but it's surprising. Like, it's really, really good. Like, I don't know what you expect water to taste like, but it's really good water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we love this.
Super clean.
Yeah.
And
much more, like, obviously single-use plastic bad. These canned waters are awesome.
Yes. Our ploggers.
Yeah.
Shout out our ploggers. Why don't you talk a little bit about the ploggers?
Sure. So with this race, it's Northern Rhode Island Conservation District, and they will go out and they will plog our race after, they go through the course. What I will say is that just because the ploggers are out there, this part, I will say it does drive me a little crazy. We have trash cans at every aid station. We will have buckets at every mile marker. Please, please, please aim for these waste receptacles. Do not just drop things on the course. It's littering. We will try and get out there, but we're a small team. We don't have a sweeper coming out after us. They could blow into the water. Aim for the waste receptacles. Gel packets in particular should make it at least close to a bucket. Leaving those and the little tabs on the top all over the course, very, very bad for the environment. We can't possibly get to all of them because these little tabs over 26 miles. Please put them in a waste receptacle.
Yes. Clothing.
Oh, good one.
We had a lot of clothes at Newport.
Yeah, we did. Newport's always a little chillier than Providence. Again, most people don't realize that the clothing that's discarded at a race is probably our biggest pounds of waste. So some people go to like Salvation Army, or they take some old clothes that they're not wearing and they wear that before the start, and then they discard it as they run and they warm up. We totally get it. We understand. We partner with Epic Renewal. So Epic Renewal will also do all of our composting, our recycling, and our waste. And I think in Providence last year, we ended up with 2 bags of waste, which is crazy. They are amazing in what they can divert from the landfill. So shout out to Epic Renewal. But they also collect all of the clothing that's out at the start line and on course. They will keep it for 1 week and you can claim it with Lost and Found, and then they will clean it and they will recycle it. Even better than dropping clothing, just use a trash bag. That's still waste, but it's a lot less waste. And it's just, even you can get a compostable trash bag. But, the clothing is a lot. It's a lot of waste.
Yes. We had a lot at Newport. So make sure you go try to retrieve the clothes if you can. Yep. Race Joy. Why don't you dive into Race Joy and what we offer with that?
Sure. So Race Joy is our athlete tracker. It does require to use your phone. The reason being is that with your phone, you get GPS track through your whole race, which is a lot better than just hitting mats. We have 1, 2, 3 mats out on course besides our start and finish. I believe it's 3 starts, 3 mats. So you're only getting picked up every once in a while. With your phone, you'll get tracked the whole way. It's great for your spectators. Additionally, your spectators can actually post little cheers, so they can record like "Go Dad" or "You're doing great" or whatever, and you'll hear those at certain spots on course.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it is very cool, and you can replay them afterwards too, which is kind of neat. And it will tell you if you go off course. And we'll talk earphones.
Yes.
So if you do start to go off course, it will say, "Hey, you're 0.5 miles away from the course. You might want to circle back." So yeah, Race Joy is pretty cool. Oh, you have to opt in for it in the morning too. That's like, you just can't, like, your spectators just can't track you without your permission. You have to give the phone permission to be tracked. So make sure you start that before your race, like a half an hour beforehand.
Yeah, I would make sure you're doing that. I was talking with a lot of spectators at Newport, looking at their runners right on Race Joy. So it was really helpful. So if you have spectators coming, make sure you opt into that for them. They would Appreciate it.
Mhm.
Massages. We got massages at the finish line.
Yeah, thanks to Pappas OPT. They will be doing post-race massages in our recovery tent. I believe University Orthopedics is also going to be there. So we've got some trigger point tools, but yeah, it's very nice to have a massage after your race.
And then Whalers is coming again for our beer garden.
Yeah, they're bringing their big truck, which is kind of cool. So yes, everybody of age will get a beer ticket at the bottom of their bib. You can tear that off and you get one free choice of beverage from Whalers. If you want more or you have a spectator, how this works is we have a charitable company or charitable group, I should say, in the beer garden, and we don't collect any money. So it's for donation. So anything that you can give to the charitable company in exchange for the beverage would be most appreciative.
And then our PR bell. If you get a PR, come ring the bell.
Yeah. So the PR bell is my dad was a boxer back in the day, and he has this ringside bell that he gave me. And Karen is my business partner. Her husband actually mounted it on a box, so you can kind of ring the ringside bell for your PR. It will be in the awards tent.
And then do your little rant on
Earphones?
earphones.
It's not the rant so much. I mean, I get it. I love to run with music. You know, I think it's for a lot of people, it's very helpful. But what we see as race directors, and we won't ban earphones, but you need to be aware of your surroundings, of your other runners. Be mindful of the course. The roads are open to traffic. It is a lot of this is on a bike path, but you do need to be mindful of other runners. You need to hear what's around you. I'll give you a story from last year. So we have a part of the course which was marked. It's coming up from River Road, and then you take a right turn onto the Henderson Bridge onto the bike path. The bike path's a little hidden, but there is an aid station there. Will be signs there as well. So this gentleman was one of our lead runners. He was a little bit separated from the top runners, so there wasn't a bike there, and he blew past this turn despite the aid station and the signs that were there. The volunteers were yelling at him. They actually ran after him to try and get him, but he couldn't hear them because he had earphones in. So he got, I think, like a mile off course before he finally asked someone, what happened, took his earphones out. But the volunteers there did try and stop him and bring him back, but he couldn't hear them. So transparency mode on your earphones, keep your volume low. Please, for the love of God, do not wear those over the head earphones, the ones that cover your ears completely. You need to be mindful of if there's an emergency, there's going to be emergency vehicles coming up behind you. You need to be able to hear.
All right.
Yeah. That's my rant.
That's your rant.
Yeah.
So I think that's everything.
Okay.
All right. Unless you have anything else you think we missed on.
Shakeout run. There's a shakeout run. Run Newport. I want to say it's Friday. I should know this. It's on our athlete guide. Jesse's not going to be mad at me for not mentioning that.
We'll make sure to check out the athlete guide.
Check out the athlete guide. Our athlete guide has lots and lots of information, so we try to kind of pack everything in there if there's anything that's not covered. But if we missed anything, check our FAQs. This is all in our FAQs. But ask us questions, ideally before Wednesday, when we're still sitting in front of a computer. Yes. After Wednesday, it's hard for us to answer the phone. It's hard for us to respond to emails. We're just not sitting in front of a computer. We're a small group. We're generally out loading trucks or doing bib pickup or whatever. So we can't be as responsive as we would like to be. But now we're pretty responsive.
Yeah. And if you need more information about the course, maybe it's your first time doing this new course that we set up last year. This will be the second year with this course. Mm-hmm. Please go check out that flyover that we posted a couple of weeks back. But other than that, that's all we got for you. Yep. Thank you for tuning in.
There's 2 splits on course. We just always want to say that between the half and the full marathon. So there's one place in Pawtucket where the half marathon goes straight just to get the extra mile, and the full will take a left-hand turn. There is a sign there. There's a volunteer there. We just be aware of it. And there's another split where the half marathon actually turns around and the full goes out. Again, there'll be volunteers there. There's an aid station there. There is a sign there. Just, again, be aware of the people that are yelling at you and why they're yelling at you if they want you to turn one way or another.
All right. Mm-hmm. I think that's all we got. So good luck with your training.
Yes, for sure.
We will see you in 9 days.
Hydrate. Make sure you hydrate.
Make sure you hydrate.
Yeah, it can get, the last few years, it has gotten very warm in the afternoon. Hydrate in advance of race day. Just be very, a lot of electrolytes, be very mindful of your nutrition and your hydration the days before the race.
And be healthy. Pray for good weather as always.
Yep.
And we'll see you then.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, everyone. Bye.